Friends, in our world many great people have been born, about whom we know to some extent, but somewhere we don't fully know their qualities, their numerous deeds, and the boons they gave to the world. Friends, among these great people, one such name is that of Abraham Lincoln, the former President of the United States, who made a huge contribution in transforming America and in its development. He was the 16th President of the U.S., and he is credited with abolishing slavery in America and freeing the nation from the Civil War. Not only that, but he is also considered one of the most loved U.S. presidents. Many people even called him the Mysterious Lincoln, as there are accounts of strange events connected with him that suggest he might have had a link with some mystical world. So friends, in today's video, let us talk about Lincoln's life and some mysterious events connected to him. Early life. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a wooden cabin. His father's name was Thomas Lincoln and his mother's name was Nancy Lincoln. His ancestors came from England and later settled in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Lincoln's grandfather's name was Captain Abraham Lincoln, who had moved from Virginia to Kentucky around 1780. In 1786, Captain Lincoln was killed by a Native American hunter. At that time, his son Thomas Abraham's father witnessed the attack with his own eyes. Orphaned after his father's death, Thomas had to make his own way in life. Eventually, he married a woman named Nancy and started a family. Due to land disputes, Thomas had to move with his family to Perry County, Indiana, where life was very hard. Finally, Thomas purchased land and the family could live in peace. When Abraham was just 9 years old, his mother Nancy died on October 5, 1818, at the age of 34. This was a devastating blow to young Lincoln, and his relationship with his father became distant. A year later, in December 1819, Thomas married Sarah Bush Johnston, a widow with 3 children. She was a strong, kind woman who developed a good bond with Abraham and encouraged him to read. Although neither Thomas nor Sarah was well educated, Sarah's support inspired Lincoln to study. However, books were very hard to find in Indiana, and the family was poor, so Abraham's schooling was irregular. Still, he developed a habit of self-education at home. In March 1830, the family moved to Macon County, Illinois. Lincoln was 22 by then and began working as a laborer. Young Lincoln was 6 feet 4 inches tall, thin but very strong. He did small jobs like store clerk and watchman before eventually opening a general store, which he ran for some years. In 1837, Lincoln entered politics and became a leader of the Whig Party. Though he contested many elections, he struggled financially and often failed to deliver justice for the poor, which deeply troubled him. Eventually, he decided to become a lawyer. In 1844, he began legal training with William Herndon, later becoming his law partner. Though law didn't make him very rich, it gave him mental peace and satisfaction. Lincoln was honest and often charged little or no fee to poor clients. For example, once he helped a widow of a soldier claim her for $100 pension. A pension agent had demanded $100 as a fee, but Lincoln not only represented her for free, he even paid for her hotel stay and return travel ticket. Political career. In 1854, Lincoln returned to politics, contesting elections and speaking against slavery. After the Whig Party dissolved, he joined the newly formed Republican Party in 1856, quickly becoming a prominent leader. Though he lost the vice presidential race, he gained national recognition. At that time, slavery was the central issue dividing the nation. Southern states, dependent on agriculture, brought enslaved Africans to work on plantations. Northern states, on the other hand, had largely abolished slavery by the early 1800s and embraced industrial progress. Lincoln declared in a speech, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. The nation cannot remain half slave and half free." In 1860, Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States. His primary goal was to abolish slavery and preserve the Union. The Civil War, soon after his election, conflict between the North and South escalated into the Civil War 1861 to 1865. The South wanted to form its own separate country and preserve slavery, while the North wanted to abolish slavery and maintain national unity. Initially, the war was very tough for the North, especially in 1863, but eventually momentum shifted. By 1864, victory was in sight, and in 1865, the Union defeated the Confederacy. Slavery was abolished, and former slaves were legally freed. Lincoln's premonition and death. In early 1865, Lincoln had strange dreams. One night, he dreamed that the White House was unusually quiet. Curious, he went downstairs and saw people crying. He asked a guard who had died, and the guard replied, "The president." Lincoln woke up in shock. He continued to have similar dreams for several nights. On April 14, 1865, he even told his bodyguard, William Crook, about these dreams. That evening, despite warnings, Lincoln went to Ford's Theater with his wife, Mary. The play Our American Cousin was being performed, starring actor John Wilkes Booth. At 10:15 p.m., Booth entered the presidential box and shot Lincoln in the head from behind. Lincoln was carried to the nearby Peterson House, where he died the next morning at 7:20 a.m., April 15, 1865. Abraham Lincoln remains one of history's greatest leaders, a man of honesty, compassion, and vision who not only abolished slavery but also preserved the American Union.